October 2008.
A bank in London. A bank manager named James sits in his spacious office, his face pale, hands hovering over a phone he can't bring himself to touch. His company's network, which he once considered impenetrable, is bleeding money. Over the last 48 hours, $6.5 million has vanished. Not through a brute force cyber attack, but through a series of small, seemingly legitimate transactions. The digital trail leads to dozens of shell companies, all run by one person, a 21-year-old student named Jered. But Jered wasn't a programmer. He didn't have a black market botnet. He didn't even use a computer. He used a phone, and in a chilling twist, he convinced the banks to do the hard work for him. The phone on James's desk rings. It's the police. How did a college kid convince some of the world's largest banks to hand over their customers' money? And what happens when the very people you've been scamming finally figure out you're inside the room with them? 4 years earlier, in a cramped dorm room at Cambridge University, a skinny teenager with a mischievous grin hunches over a laptop. Meet Jered. He's not studying finance or computer science. He's a psychology major, fascinated by the way people can be manipulated. His obsession isn't with code, it's with human trust. He spends his nights in a world he calls the back office, a place most people don't even know exists. It's the hidden, private side of major corporations, accessible only to employees with the right permissions. Jered knows that a company's strongest defense isn't its firewall, it's the person behind the desk. One night, he stumbles upon a company directory for a large financial firm. He notices a pattern. All the employees' extensions and departments are listed. Jered's mind starts to race. He realizes that an entire system of trust built over decades is about to be dismantled by a simple phone call. His goal isn't to hack a bank's servers, it's to hack the people who run them. A few weeks later, Jered makes his first call. It's a shot in the dark, a grand experiment. He calls the bank's internal IT department using a script he's rehearsed for hours. He creates a fake email address and sends a password reset request to a mid-level manager in the wealth management department. The manager, thinking it's a standard IT request, clicks the link and enters his credentials. Now Jered doesn't just have access to a network, he has a key to the digital kingdom. Over the next few years, Jered hones his craft. He moves from phishing to a more sophisticated attack, a form of fraud known as voice phishing. He buys fake caller ID software that allows his phone to display any number he wants. He uses it to impersonate executives, telling employees he's working from a different location and needs them to approve a wire transfer to a new vendor. He uses the same psychological principles he studied in his classes: authority, urgency, reciprocity. He plays on people's natural inclination to trust, and it works. He's so good, so convincing, that people rarely question his requests. By 2008, his methods have become a well-oiled machine. He's no longer just stealing a few $1,000s here and there. He's targeting multi-million-dollar accounts, convincing senior-level employees to approve transfers of over $500,000. He's a one-man crime syndicate, and no one has any idea. His scam is so brilliant, so simple, that it's invisible to the bank's traditional fraud detection systems. The transactions are all authorized by legitimate employees. The funds go to legitimate-looking shell companies. No one notices the millions that are slowly, meticulously disappearing. He was almost invisible, but Jered's undoing wasn't a clever investigator or a system alert. It was a tiny, almost insignificant detail that exposed his entire operation. One day, a bank manager, a seasoned veteran named Sarah, receives a call from her boss asking for an urgent transfer. Sarah, who has known her boss for 20 years, notices a slight change in the way he pronounces a certain word. The phonetic shift is barely perceptible, but to Sarah, it sounds off. She checks the caller ID. It's a number she knows. She asks her boss a question only the real one would know the answer to. "What was the name of the dog I got married to?" she asks. Jered, taken by surprise, falters. Sarah hangs up the phone and calls the police. The gig is up. The bank's internal investigation reveals the staggering scale of the fraud. Jered is a ghost with no physical presence, no traceable IP address, nothing but a name and a number that he can change at will. But Sarah, a veteran of her trade, knows the art of the slow and steady hunt. Instead of a direct chase, she sets a trap. She works with the police, tracing every fake phone number, every shell company, every seemingly random transaction. They build a web of circumstantial evidence, one that leads to a single name: Jered. And when they finally knock on his door, they aren't looking for a hardened criminal, they're looking for a kid in a dorm room. Jered is convicted of fraud and sentenced to 3 years in prison. The money is never recovered, and his case becomes a cautionary tale for the financial industry. His story wasn't just about a clever crime. It was about the way a brilliant mind used human psychology to break a system that was built on a foundation of trust. It reveals a terrifying truth that sometimes the most effective tool for a criminal isn't a computer, but a telephone. For more stories like this, where unsuspecting people use smart moves to exploit the system, subscribe to our channel Fraud Files and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video.